Buying the wrong Leica isn't a small mistake. When you make the wrong choice with a Leica camera, you're talking about thousands of dollars evaporating from your bank account. And here's what nobody on Instagram or TikTok will tell you. Some of the most hyped Leica cameras in 2026 have quietly become financial traps. That iconic red dot doesn't always mean a smart investment anymore. Today I'm showing you 3 Leica cameras you should absolutely not buy in 2026. This isn't about hating Leica. I love Leica. This is about protecting your money. If you care about buying smart gear instead of emotional hype, hit subscribe right now. This channel exists to save you from expensive regrets. Welcome back to Alt Buzz, where we cut through hype and marketing to talk about what actually makes sense to buy. Let's talk about the first Leica that looks harmless, but might be the biggest trap of all. At number 3, Leica CL, the dead-end trap. The Leica CL Compact. Modern interface, clean design, and affordable, well, affordable by Leica standards anyway. On paper, it reads like the perfect gateway drug, a small, stylish APS-C camera that lets you taste the Leica experience without selling a kidney. That's the pitch. That's what the used market whispers to you late at night when you're scrolling through listings. But here's the cold, brutal reality nobody puts in those listing descriptions. Leica abandoned APS-C completely. They walked away from the entire system. The CL is discontinued. The TL lenses, gone, stopped. No more production. There is no roadmap. There is no future development. This isn't a living, breathing camera system. This is a zombie system. Think about what this means in practice. You buy a CL because it's small and light, right? That's the whole point of APS-C. Portability, agility, a camera you can carry all day without feeling like you're hauling a brick. But then you realize there are no new lenses being made for it. The native TL lenses are discontinued. So what do? You start mounting massive full-frame L-mount lenses onto this tiny body. Suddenly, your compact dream camera is front-heavy, unbalanced, and completely absurd. You've destroyed the entire reason you bought it in the first place. I've read the forums, I've seen the posts. CL owners aren't upgrading their glass anymore. They're compromising, they're adapting, they're making excuses. And here's the phrase that shows up again and again. I love the camera, but I hate the system. That's not a ringing endorsement. That's a warning sign painted in neon. That's someone trapped in a dead ecosystem trying to convince themselves it was worth it. And let's talk about resale value for a second. When you buy into an abandoned system, your camera doesn't hold value the way Leicas are supposed to. It stagnates. It declines. Buyers know there's no future, so they lowball you. Listen to me very carefully. Never buy into a system the manufacturer has already walked away from. You're not investing in a camera. You're investing in a dead end. If you want a compact Leica, get the Q2. Fixed lens, complete ecosystem, proven long-term value. Or if you want a thriving APS-C system, look at Fujifilm's X Pro 3. But the CL? In 2026, it's a beautiful trap. Don't step in it. And unfortunately, the next camera on this list is even worse, because it looks professional. It looks serious. But under the surface, there's a problem it can't hide anymore. At number 2, Leica SL2, the autofocus trap. The Leica SL2. This camera feels like a tank, built like German engineering at its finest. It looks like a serious professional tool. The kind of camera that says, I know what I'm doing. And when it launched, it was a workhorse, a legitimate flagship. But in 2026, this camera is fighting a losing battle against time. The SL2 uses contrast detect autofocus. And in 2026, that is ancient technology. We're talking about autofocus from a different era. It's like bringing a flip phone to a smartphone fight. Contrast detect means the camera hunts. It pulses, it racks back and forth, searching for focus. And if your subject moves, if there's any kind of action in the frame, you're going to miss shots. Not sometimes, regularly. Let me paint you a picture. You're shooting a wedding. The bride is walking down the aisle. Emotional moment, perfect light. You raise the SL2, press the shutter halfway, and watch as the focus pulses in and out. hunting, searching, trying to lock on. By the time it finds focus, the moment has shifted. The expression has changed. You got a shot, sure, but not the shot. Or let's say you're shooting street photography. Someone interesting walks by, you lift the camera, the autofocus starts hunting. By the time it locks on, they're gone. The decisive moment? You just watched it walk past you while your $5,000 camera tried to figure out what to focus on. Now, the image quality out of the SL2 is beautiful. Gorgeous files, rich color, sharp glass. Nobody's debating that. But here's the thing, what good are beautiful files if you miss the moment? What's the point of 61 megapixels if your autofocus can't lock onto your kid's face at a birthday party? What's the point of all that Leica prestige if you're stuck in the frustration zone every time something moves? And here's what makes this even harder to swallow. Even mid-priced cameras now have phase detect autofocus that can lock onto eyes and track movement flawlessly. We're talking about cameras that cost a fraction of what the SL2 demands on the used market. Cameras that just work. Point, shoot, nailed it. The forums tell the same story over and over. Beautiful image quality, but painful experience. You're not paying for performance here. You're paying for the badge. You're paying for the name. The photography world has moved on. Phase detect autofocus with subject tracking is now standard. The SL2 doesn't have any of that. It's fighting with one hand tied behind its back. In 2026, the SL2 is outclassed by cameras that cost less and work better. If you're committed to L-mount, get a Panasonic Lumix S5 Mark II. Same mount, modern phase detect autofocus, far better value. Or if you're committed to Leica, save up for the SL3. But the SL2, it's a relic pretending to be relevant. And you shouldn't pay Leica prices for obsolete autofocus technology. Quick pause. If you want deeper gear breakdowns and buying guides without the YouTube algorithm pushing me toward clickbait, check out the Alt Buzz website. That's where the long-form thinking lives. Real reviews, real analysis, no fluff. And if you want to support this channel directly and help keep these videos honest, independent, and hype-free, there's a $5 membership option. Every bit helps me keep doing this work without needing to chase brand deals or soften my opinions. All right, now let's talk about the most romantic, most hyped, and most dangerous Leica on this list. At number 1, Leica M9 or M9P, the time bomb trap. The Leica M9. This camera is pure nostalgia bait. If you've spent any time on YouTube or TikTok in the photography world, you've heard the legend. The CCD sensor, the film-like colors, the soul. That magic word that gets thrown around like it explains everything. People talk about the M9 the way they talk about vinyl records or vintage motorcycles. Like it's not just a camera, but an experience, a vibe, a feeling you can't get anywhere else. And I get it, I really do. The M9 produces images that look different, softer highlights, gentler color transitions, a certain glow that's hard to replicate. When it works, when the sensor is still healthy, it can produce gorgeous files. I understand the appeal, but here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. The Leica M9 is a ticking time bomb, not metaphorically. Literally, these sensors corrode. They degrade over time. Not maybe, not if you're unlucky, they just do. Sensor corrosion is a widespread, documented, well-known issue with the M9. The sensor coating breaks down, you get spots, you get artifacts. Eventually, the sensor fails completely. And this isn't about how well it's been maintained. This is chemistry. This is physics. The sensor coating oxidizes. It corrodes. It doesn't matter if the camera lived in a climate-controlled safe. Time catches up with every M9 eventually. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And when your sensor fails, not if, when, you're looking at a repair bill that can easily hit $2,500. Sometimes more, if you can even find the parts. If Leica will even service it at that point. Let's talk about the math. You see an M9 listed for $4,000, seems reasonable, right? But that $4,000 isn't your total cost. It's just the entry fee. Add another $2,000 to $3,000 for the inevitable sensor replacement. Now you're at $6,000 or $7,000 for a 17-year-old camera with known reliability issues. Does that still sound like a good deal? Here's what frustrates me the most. YouTube only shows you the survivors. You see the M9s that are still working. The ones that produce those dreamy, glowy, soft images that get thousands of likes. What you don't see are the dead sensors, the failed cameras sitting in drawers. The buyers who spent $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on a camera that died 6 months later. Survivorship bias is real, and here's the psychological trap. When you buy an M9, you start living in fear. Every time you take it out, there's a voice in the back of your head asking, is today the day? You can't relax, you can't trust it. That's not what photography should feel like. Let me be very clear. No amount of vibes is worth risking your hard-earned money on a 17-year-old failure-prone camera. If you want the M rangefinder experience, get an M240. It uses a CMOS sensor that doesn't corrode. It's reliable. It's proven. It won't betray you 2 years in. The M9? It's a romantic idea wrapped around a reliability disaster. And in 2026, that romance is expensive. Choose reliability over nostalgia. Your future self will thank you. So there you have it. 3 Leica cameras that look legendary on paper but make no sense in 2026. The CL, trapped in an abandoned system with no future and no lens roadmap. The SL2, fighting with outdated contrast detect autofocus while the world moves on. The M9, a sensor corrosion time bomb wrapped in nostalgia and YouTube hype. These cameras aren't bad because they're Leica. They're bad because they no longer make sense. And here's what I want you to understand. Loving Leica doesn't mean defending bad purchases. Respecting the brand doesn't mean ignoring reality. Leica should feel timeless. It should feel like confidence, like quality, like a tool you can trust for decades. It shouldn't feel stressful. It shouldn't feel like a compromise. It shouldn't feel like you're crossing your fingers every time you press the shutter. And it definitely shouldn't feel risky. When you buy a Leica, you should feel excitement, not anxiety. You should feel ready to create, not worried about failure. You work hard for your money. You save. You plan. You dream about the gear that will help you create better work. Don't let hype, nostalgia, or social media pressure push you into a bad decision. Buy tools that serve you, not legends that betray you. Make smart choices. Invest in systems that have a future. Choose reliability over romance. Because at the end of the day, the best camera isn't the one with the coolest story or the most likes on Instagram. It's the one that works. The one that's there for you when it matters. The one you can trust. Have you been tempted by the M9 hype? Or are you sticking with modern tech? Maybe you own one of these cameras and you disagree with me completely. Let me know in the comments. I genuinely read them, and I love hearing your perspectives. If this video helped you avoid an expensive mistake, hit that subscribe button. That's how this channel grows. And that's how we keep making honest content that protects your wallet instead of feeding you hype. And if you want to go even further and support the work we do here at AltBuzz, super thanks are always appreciated. They genuinely help keep this channel alive and independent. Every dollar matters. Before you go, check out the AltBuzz website for more in-depth reviews and buying guides. And if you want to join the community and get early access to content, that $5 membership is waiting for you. All right, I'll see you in the next one.